Tammy's right. Yeah.
Alright, cool. So, thank you for the talk, Tammy. That was great. Now we have Gary, and yeah, we actually have met for the first time today, but we knew each other online from the same mastermind group that me, Tammy, and Gary were in. So, thank you for coming. It's been
Appreciate
a pleasure.
it, bro. Thank
Please
you very much.
introduce yourself and enjoy this Q&A because this is a top G right here. Let's get it.
Yeah, thanks, Jerome, man. So guys, I'm a performance coach. I've spoke to some of you earlier. You know what I do. I work with entrepreneurs in the 6, 7, 8 figure bracket. Basically, optimize their performance, grow their business through focus, productivity, health, longevity. Basically, getting the most out of them as an entrepreneur rather than just getting the most out of their business. I believe the two can coexist, but most people go wrong with just focusing purely on the business rather than the actual entrepreneur who's running the business, right? So that's a big problem I want to solve. So I'm going to do a bit of a riff today. I'm just do like a live Q&A with you guys, and I'm going to answer some questions. So I'm going to start. I'll start with Jerome, and then Yemi, I'll come to you because Jerome just put his hand up there.
So, who are some of the people that you've worked with, and what kind of transformations were you able to help?
Yeah, great question, man. So a lot of people know me for working directly with Hamza. That's how I kind of got to the point I'm at. I've recently finished working with a Boston Red Sox player as well, which is pretty cool. Professional baseball player. I've worked with professional golfers as well, all around mindset and just basically getting the most out of their game. So a lot of what I teach is around mindset and identity, and it's not just applicable to business, which is really cool. And some of the lessons that I've used to shape my life as well to get to the point I'm at are transferable to what they do. It's just a different domain, different market. Work with, like I said, 6, 7, 8 figure entrepreneurs. Work with a guy recently who's based in Sydney, took him from 450k to $1 million a month, which is probably the biggest one I've had. Hamza helped add 2.5 hours of productivity per day because he's like super self-improvement focused, as you guys know. He like tracks all his deep work and everything. Tripled his REM sleep as well, which is a big thing for like emotional processing, memory consolidation, all of that stuff. So yeah, a lot of what I do is kind of like behind the scenes with entrepreneurs. It's like peeling back the layers, seeing who they are, what they want to achieve, how they're currently ticking. And when you're at the top of the tree as well, those little wins, those little nuances, the 5, the 10%, even the 1% can really make a difference in your business. And so many people are just looking at the business rather than, like I said earlier, the guy who's running the business. If you're operating at 60% and you want to scale your business, someone who's operating 100% is going to beat you 10 times out of 10. Right? It doesn't matter how fucking good you are as an entrepreneur, how smart you are. If you can't get the best out of you as an individual, you're going to do it slower, you're going to make more mistakes, you're going to get more pissed off, you're going to be unproductive, you're going to procrastinate, you're going to second guess yourself, you're going to lack conviction in what you do, and ultimately that can lead to a business that stagnates or doesn't grow. Or it can lead to burnout in extreme cases, as I was once there myself, right? So everything I teach is around lifestyle design, around the individual. We even do DNA tests with these guys as well, as I was saying to you earlier, Yemi, as well. Really looking under the hood at who these entrepreneurs are, because all of us in this room, we're not going to grow our business the same way, right? We may have the same information, but we're all going to interpret it a different way, and we all have different lives, right? I myself, I've got a young kid, got to look after, I've got a wife to look after, a lot of you guys have partners. If you don't have partners, you still get your own shit going on, right? Everyone applies the information depending on their biases, their little nuances in their lives, like I said, around family. And if you're all trying to do the same thing, you're all going to get different results, or you're going to get results that aren't to the best of your ability. So it has to be applied to you in the individual case to get the most productivity out of your day, get the most focus, the least stress, the best results possible that ultimately impact your business. And Temi was saying earlier in his speech, he's got a team to lead, right? So if he's not performing at his best, imagine him coming into the office or being on a call going, all right, guys, like just flagging or drinking a can of Monster. He's trying to motivate these guys. These are Spartans, right? These are guys that want to get after it. They're going to think, who the fuck is this guy leading us? They're going to look down on you. Your business is probably going to lose people, probably lose revenue as well, right? But if you're showing up like you showed up with the energy on your talk earlier, with the fucking motivation and the hustle and the ambition and the discipline, they're going to look to you and think, oh yeah, I've got to bring my A game today. That only impacts your business positively. But so many entrepreneurs will have that energy for the first year or two, or maybe more, right? They'll have success, and then they'll just take their foot off the gas because it's too much to continue doing that, because they'll just push past what they knew was like comfortable for them, and they'll go into the unknown, but the unknown they're not prepared for, right? So it's my job to prepare these guys so they don't burn themselves out, so they can get to that next level. And if they continuously push and push and push without knowing the consequences or knowing what's best for them, it can only be detrimental, right? And the thing is, when you're a CEO or an entrepreneur, there's no one above you to look after you. It's extremely lonely. And I think Forbes did a study, I may be wrong, you guys can look this up. I think it was about 55% of CEOs and entrepreneurs struggle with loneliness because they're just always in this fucking cycle, up and down of like the emotional roller coaster of entrepreneurship. And no one supports them. Their wife doesn't understand, right? They don't understand the struggle, they don't relate. The people below them don't understand it. They look up to them, but they don't understand the problems. So who do they report to, right? Who's actually in their corner? And when you're at that level, it's very important to have people in your corner. As we all sitting in this room today, all supporting each other, right? We're all at different levels of business, but we all need that support. And that's what I do for these guys. And it's why they kind of relate to me. They relate to my story. They relate to where I've come from. They relate to the success I've had in a very short period of time. They relate to me as a family man as well, which is what Jerome was saying, right? So I'm going to move on now. That's a long-winded answer, but I wanted to give you guys like I said, I was going to riff, so give you an overview. Yemi, what are you going to ask me, bro?
How did you get to the point where you are now? How did you get into this business and this business model?
Yeah, so for those of you that, Jerome knows a bit more about this, but a lot of you guys won't know my story, but it started in 2019 when I was working a corporate job, got made redundant, and in that corporate job, I was burning myself out. I was gaining loads of weight, like doing long hours, just really not looking after myself. It was just laser focus on the job and being the best I could. That had a big detrimental effect, right? And I wasn't fully aware of it until one day I woke up, a bit like Jerome said earlier, when you were just playing Fortnite and then woke up and was like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? That was literally my moment. Right, I looked in the mirror and I was just like, what have I done? Like, I know I was tired, like emotional, arguing with my missus all the time. So anyway, got a part-time job to get some money in, and on that, in that job, I had enough money to kind of just keep me ticking over, but also enough time to focus on myself. First thing I said to myself was, I'm always fucking tired, I need to sort myself out. What do you do when you're tired? You try and sleep, right? You fix your sleep. So that's what I did. And I was just sick of being tired. It wasn't a case of going to the gym and losing weight. It was just, that was the biggest pain for me. I was like, right, I'm going to fix that. Did all the sleep hygiene stuff, read the books, immersed myself in it, got great results, felt brilliant, lost a bit of weight, right? My body just started working better because, funnily enough, sleep is the foundation of your health. And no one fucking talks about it, right? If you have the best diet, the best workout, if you're not sleeping, not recovering, you ain't going to get great results, right? And that's exactly what I was doing. So after I did that, I posted the transformation online, literally just a couple of shirtless pictures. I still use the same picture of me today on my YouTube story, on my Instagram of me when I was at my heaviest, right? And I just looked fucking terrible. And I posted a photo of me now, and I was starting to get definition back in my abs, and I was feeling confident, and people started asking me questions. So anyway, long story short, talking to more people, and then I thought I can monetize this, I can help people. I had an input from a few people. It was like, this is my side hustle, this is what I can do, I can teach people how to sleep. So, launched a group coaching offer, made nearly $1,000. Over like a couple of months, I signed up 10 people and then launched it, packaged it all, made it nice. Didn't really know anything about coaching or anything. I just taught people what I knew, what I'd learned, right? Then I became qualified in sleep and recovery. Then I did a couple of courses. One of them was Nick Lamb's course. If you guys check him out online, he's called the Online Sleep Coach, a really good comprehensive course. And then my knowledge grew from there, right? So more testimonials, more clients, packaged it into one-to-one. Then me and my wife got pregnant in 2022. So then I was like, I'm going to become a dad. So I was like, I'm going to go all in with this, right? And then I started immersing myself into all kinds of health. And I had a background in health as well, because at one time when I was younger, as I was saying to Temi earlier, I did boxing, I was super fit. Even done strongman, like I've changed my body shape quite a few times, and you guys can see this on my Instagram. You can see images of me when I was super lean, when I was super big, like 120 kilos, deadlifting 250. Then I was boxing at middleweight and I was like 70 kg and super fast and super light. So I knew how to kind of like manage my physique. So with that, it was diet, nutrition, then the DNA stuff came, then the blood test came, and then testosterone came. Then I packaged it up. Then when I grew my business, when my son was born in 2022, December, to July 23, I hit 45K a month, $1,000. January, I did $570, right? It was my first like proper month solo of my new brand and like this new package that I was launching. And then everyone started asking me and gravitating to me and saying, how did you do it? Like, what did you do? Then I started getting people paying attention to me. So it's what Jerome was saying earlier. It's like the power of a personal brand, because I was just sharing my journey. It's like fatherhood, entrepreneurship, helping people with sleep and performance. Entrepreneurs like Hamza started relating to that because they're all in self-improvement, and then the rest is history, right? So that's it, man. That's like a 5-year journey whizzed over, but yeah.
Excellent, thanks.
All good. Yeah, David.
What is your ideal routine?
Oh, bro, great question. For me personally?
Yeah, for you.
Okay, so I know my chronotype, my chronobiology, which is my sleep schedule. And I can get more into that in a minute. That's a morning lark, right? What they call morning lark. So I go to bed at like 9 and I'm asleep by about 9:30. Absolute latest 10 o'clock. And I noticed like an energy dip at like 6:30, 7. Like my body's just ready to wind down, right? Start yawning, flagging, it's not good, right? Some people can go later than that because they're different to me, but then I wake up at around 5, 5:30, right? Which for me was ideal when I had a kid, because kids don't sleep particularly well, right? But I was saying this earlier before I did this talk, my missus is the opposite. So she tends to go to bed later and she wakes up later. So for me, my routine is say between 9 and half 5. Then I'll get up. This is not including like being a dad. Before I was a dad, I would get up, I would hydrate, first thing, most important thing for me to get my body going, and I would get out, literally just get some sunlight. It's very, very cliche for people to say that, but it's just so important. I literally get 10 minutes of sunlight. Even on a day like this, we're in London, it's gloomy, I'd still get outside, just get some form of natural light, all right? Then I would just go about my day. Like I wouldn't do anything fancy, I wouldn't do any meditation, any breath work, anything like that. The night before, I would have reflected on what I needed to do for that day, like my intentions for that day. So I go to bed with clarity and I wake up with intention. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They go to bed with lack of clarity, wake up with zero intention, try and figure everything out, then everything's fucking chaos, right? They go into the day going, oh, I need to do this is important, this is important. None of it's important if you actually know what your intentions are, you have clarity. Obviously that comes from good sleep as well, which is a bonus, right? Then I would just execute, but I execute in blocks. So I'm quite weird the way I work, right? But I work in blocks of 2 hours. So I do about 6 hours of work a day. And this is to do with what we have in our body called our ultradian rhythm. And I did a reel on this on my Instagram about a month ago. Someone asked me about it and I did a reel. Most people are like, oh, I'll do a 4-hour block of deep work, or I'll do 8 hours of like focus work, whatever, that's my day, right? Human beings cannot focus realistically for more than 2 hours. Realistically, right? We can't. We may think we can, but it's the law of diminishing returns. We'll go up like that and then we'll go down, right? So I'll do an example of an ultradian rhythm. Like we start our day, right? This is the reel I did. We start our day, we wake up, right? That's you. Your stress level is up here, okay? As an entrepreneur, right? You can't really take on any more, okay? You're a busy guy, you've got a lot on. Now what you do is you jump into your work, and then your stress level gets even higher. So you jump into your work, your stress level gets even higher, right? So now you're up here, right? Then you want to go to bed. Your day goes on, maybe your stress level gets even higher, maybe you just tick over, right? Most entrepreneurs are very good at lying to themselves and just like taking the pain, right? Embrace the pain. Be an entrepreneur, accept it, it's part of your normality, right? So then what happens? Nighttime comes, right? And you need to get all the way back down here again to actually go to sleep. Actually switch off, actually plan your day, right? You're fucked. Your heart rate's jacked, your cortisol's jacked, your mind's jacked, right? You can have the best routine in the world, but nothing's gonna get you back to homeostasis or ground zero, right? You're always gonna go back to your condition baseline, which is up here, okay? In the morning, so you can go back down here and you go to sleep, oh, I wake up, fucking tired, I'm stressed, my mind's racing, right? Your ultradian rhythm is the opposite, right? So you wake up, stress level's up here, right? Now, you start the day, but if you work in blocks of 2 hours, right, you allow your stress to actually come back down, because that's how our body works. We don't work in consistencies, we work in cycles. Our hormones work in cycles. Women work in a 28-day cycle, but they have 4 different phases for their menstrual cycle, okay? So if they just continually had the same phase of their menstrual cycle, they never actually get back to anywhere. They never actually get back to point A, okay? Men are the same. We think we're invincible, right? We can take more. We can take more stress. It's just how we are, right? But we also have a breaking point. We also have a point where we don't get any more from what we're fucking doing. We just operate at a baseline that's comfortable for us, and we think, yeah, I'm 100%. You're not. You're probably about 50%. But that's become your normality. Jerome was saying it earlier, right? Small town mentality, right? You live in a small town. Your parents tell you that there's nothing outside of this town. You work a job, you live and you die. That's it. That's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit because we're all entrepreneurs, right? But this is the entrepreneurial mindset. I've built a business to this level. Therefore, that means that I am successful and I can continue on this path, okay? So if you adopt this habit of the old trading rhythm, you start here, you go up a bit more, then you have a little break up here. Maybe you do some mindfulness, maybe you do some journaling, maybe you reflect on your day, maybe you think about the path that you're on so you can deviate, so you go too far into the chaos in the day, get lost in the weeds, right? You think, actually, is this what I set today, or am I focusing on other things? Am I being distracted? Then naturally, you go, a bit calmer now after that, right? Then the stress maybe goes up again, or it stays the same. Then you have another break, then it comes down again. Maybe it goes up again, then you do your evening routine and you come back down here. Or, best case scenario, you start here, you go up a little bit, and then you start coming down like this, all the way, right? So you're down here. So nighttime comes, right? You want to sleep, and you're rested. So you're a completely different person to when you started here because you've allowed 2 hour block, 2 hour block, 2 hour block, evening routine, right? Sleep, okay? This for me is way more fucking effective than 4 hours of deep work, 4 hours of deep work in 2 blocks, or 8 hours of deep work, 8 hours of sleep, right? Tell me.
How much break will you give yourself in between the 2 hour blocks?
5 to 20 minutes, tops. Mindfulness, do some fucking push-ups. Like, allow your body to just disconnect. And people in the entrepreneurial space, and I've been guilty of this, so I'm laughing, people think that they're robots, especially men. We think we're fucking invincible, right? Your mentality can be improved, but your body internally is the same as it was 70,000 fucking years ago when human beings walked the earth, right? There is only so much our physiology can take. Our mind can be upgraded, so we can take more, okay? But in terms of modern life now, we have Paleolithic emotions and bodies, and we have godlike technology, godlike systems, right? We have a cactus as our form, and we're in the fucking rainforest drowning in dopamine and stress, right? We cannot take on what we're not evolved to take on. Modern world has shifted so much, we haven't caught up in an evolutionary point of view. So, yeah, we think differently, we've conditioned ourselves differently, but internally, stress response is still the same. Cortisol, adrenaline get released, right? Focus clouds, our logical mind shuts down, conscious mind shuts down. We go with our subconscious, we're programmed to operate at this level. And as a good entrepreneur, you can condition yourself to operate at a very good level subconsciously, but it doesn't mean it's the best level that you can achieve as a human being. Owen.
How does caffeine and nicotine affect that line?
That's a good question, right? Because for some people, they can raise heart rate quite significantly. For others, they don't have that effect. That goes back to DNA and what I was saying earlier about chronobiology, because people have different caffeine tolerances. And also depends on the size of the person, right? My caffeine intake is a lot higher than my wife's, for instance, right? I'm 6'4", 100 kg, she's 5'8", and about 60 kg, right? So I'm not going to have 3 cups of coffee and have the same effect as she would if she had 3 cups of coffee. So you've got to factor that in as well. You've got to understand, this is why the DNA test is so important, right? You've got to understand your tolerances for certain things in order to get the best out of yourself. Not everybody on the planet has the ability to scale their business to the moon, right? But from my coaching perspective, I can get the best out of you so you can get the best result fucking possible. And it's exactly the same in any sport, right? Not everyone's going to be Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan or Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, but you can still be a fucking good sportsman, right? You can still be amazing at what you do, okay? That's just how human life is. There can only be someone who's at number one for so many years and then someone else takes over, and not everyone's going to get that opportunity. But if you're not able to tap into your potential through your DNA, through understanding all of this stuff, right, and operating at the level that you can operate to 100% of the time, there's no way you're going to actually achieve the best result. And for an entrepreneur, that's extremely frustrating, right? You can achieve a level of success, you could hit 20K a month. But if I tapped into this, I could build a life that you could get to 50K a month, right? and without burning out, without stressing yourself, right? Without fucking throwing a kitchen sink at everything, trying everything. Like, I can build a routine for you. You can operate at your absolute peak hours and get the most done, and you can hit the highest numbers that you can hit. Questions coming in, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Drive.
So I've got two quick questions.
Yeah.
One of them is in terms of, obviously I'm going to Australia for like 2 months. I'm going to New York next week.
Yep.
I'm traveling a lot, and I'm at a point where I am obviously trying to scale my businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you help me? Well, I mean, what would you advise? Because I see that, and that's if I was locked in my hometown in Halifax, perfect, easy. But different time zone, client calls, different hours. You know, US time zone, Australia time zone, completely other side of the world, and I've got people all over the world as well to hop on calls with. So what advice would you have for me? Because my life's about to have a lot of side quests and variables, but I still want to be locked in and get good quality work done.
Great question, bro. Something I've been asked a lot with the entrepreneurs I work with, right? But my answer is always the same. It's to have 3 non-negotiables every time you travel or every time you're in a new situation. The reason you don't adapt to the situation to get your best work is because you're in an unfamiliar environment, right? A lot of people are going to sleep better in their own bed than they would in a hotel room. It's just how the mind works. It's called conditioned arousal. So you're used to being in your own bed, feeling a certain way. You go to a hotel, you're by yourself, you don't really know the environment, maybe the bed's really comfy, but it's hard to switch off because you're not familiar with the surroundings. Subconsciously, that's how the mind works. It's a survival mechanism. And it's the same with entrepreneurs that are traveling. You go from London to New York to Sydney, a lot of traveling. So we can talk about jet lag, but that's a whole different topic and we don't have time for that. But I will talk to you about that at some point. But have 3 non-negotiables when you land, right? Personally, mine is to get as much movement in as possible, okay? Then I would optimize the environment I would be working in, set up for me, right? So maybe I would have certain things positioned in a certain way, right? So if I'm in a hotel, I can position the window, right? Or I'd even request a room, this is crazy, even request a room that faces the sun. So as soon as the sun rises in the morning, I wake up, I can get light, it hits me, sets my circadian rhythm, right? So the following morning, if I have a night flight, I can get that light in, I can get out, I can get my setup dialed in, and I can have things for me, like one of the things is binaural beats as well, like certain frequencies like alpha, theta, beta. I listen to those to dial in my frequency and my mind, right? Look up the science on it, as Drover say, Google it, okay? So,
Search term.
huh?
We Google the frequency behind
Frequencies. If you Google alpha, beta, theta, gamma frequencies, there's things for focus, things for stress, things for meditation's a certain frequency, right? So you have to tap into a certain brainwave frequency to feel calmer or feel more focused. That's what flow state is. It's a whole different conversation. So yeah, 3 non-negotiables. Think about that. Think about when you're operating your absolute best, what the things are that you latch to, right? Is it a certain work routine? Is it working out at a certain time? Like, I get some movement in. Go to the gym if you land. Like, even if the gym is about to close, try and go to the gym, get some sort of workout in, just to help your body stay as energetic as possible and sync with the new time zone, because you don't want to be falling asleep at the wrong time, right? And then think about your environment. And think about one other thing, like maybe you take a journal with you, like to plan some form of home comfort, just to kind of sink in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because I have no choice but to take some calls at Australian time, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So, obviously sleep is a big thing and circadian rhythm is huge. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to use my eye mask.
Yeah, use an eye mask, use earplugs, use a light machine. Like if you have to wake up at a certain time and you're adapting, use a light machine to get some light into your room so you feel energetic for that call. It's not ideal, but you have to make do. You know, you get to a certain level, you have to make do. There's always things that we can optimize. David.
How would you simplify this for dummies? Like someone who doesn't want to look into all of this, doesn't want to do the nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
How would you simplify everything, like to get the best performance? Do this. These things will help you.
Great question, bro. That's got me thinking. Okay, so if I was talking to a complete beginner, I would always start with sleep. Always. I will die on the hill and I'll debate it with anyone. If you tell me working out and eating is more important than sleep, I will say, no, it fucking isn't. Here's why, right? Sleep is the most important thing, okay? You cannot survive without sleeping. You can survive eating shit food, you can survive not working out, right? You won't be in great shape or great health, but you'll die if you don't sleep. End of story, right? You can think you can go, I think the record is 72 hours with not sleeping. It's the maximum someone can go. You can even survive without water for longer. like 4 or 5 days, I think, is the top you can survive without water. So always start with sleep. Look at your routine, look at your consistency, look at your habits. Sleep hygiene 101, right? Just audit that, okay? Next thing, sounds so silly, would be hydration level. So many people walking out in the street now are dehydrated and they don't even know it, right? They've got brain fog, their muscles cramp, they're angry and emotional. All of these are signs of dehydration, as well as poor sleep and other factors. But if you can rule out the simple things, the low-hanging fruit, sleep and hydration, then it would be, Temmie's and Yemi are big on this, like diet, right? For me, diet is just all about eliminating certain foods and keeping everything simple. Like 2 simple protein sources, 2 simple carb sources, 2 simple fat sources. That's what I would do. So steak, chicken, rice, sweet potato, butter, ghee, something like that, right? That's what I would do. You rule everything out, you see how someone feels, right? Go on that diet for 2 weeks and see how you feel. Then add another food, maybe add some broccoli and maybe add some fruit in, see how you feel then. People have fucking rainbow or a galaxy even of diet, right? So much food, processed food, breads, pastas, candy, popcorn, crisps. We eat so much. We don't actually know how it impacts us. So if you can rule all of that stuff out and say it's not just processed food, maybe even certain green vegetables make you feel bloated and lethargic, right? So maybe you have an intolerance to that. Not everyone can eat those things because they're very cruciferous, they're very high in fiber, they can affect people's gut. So once you rule all of that out, I think that's one of the easiest places to start in terms of diet, eliminating variables. Simplify everything, yeah. Luca?
Very quick one. So I sometimes personally mean like I struggle to live in the present in certain things. So
Okay.
for example, like doing what I'm doing, I'm 70-80% of the time on my laptop or working. But if I'm going out and you know, like I'm socializing, if I'm going for a coffee or something, all I'm doing is focused on work. I can't, so I got criticised when I was like traveling with my girl, who was my girlfriend at the time. She said to me, for fuck's sake, you're not present. We're in Copacabana Beach in Brazil and all you're thinking about is sales or something like that. And I'm just like, I don't know how to stop that.
Okay, that's a good question, man. Like, because you can't stop
So
it.
how do you eliminate like that, like to really zone out and take yourself away from it?
You can't. You can't. You're either an overthinker or you're not. But I'll tell you this. You can manage it, because I'm an overthinker, right? But I also have a near 2-year-old son and a wife at home. They're my higher purpose, okay? So whenever my mind goes into any kind of racing thought, or maybe I need to close a deal, or what if this happens, what if this happens, bring myself back and think about the things that I do have around me right now, or the things that I can focus on that aren't related to work, like for a higher purpose. So me as a man, and Temmie nailed it earlier when he talked about men being valued and being loved, right? Or women being loved, sorry. Men also need to be loved as well, okay? We also need, even if it's not romantic love, like we're all supporting each other, like we all respect each other. That's a form of love, right? That's a form of emotional support, okay? So men need that. We also need to feel valued. If you don't have that in your life, even if you're with somebody, you don't think that she respects you, you don't think that she's the one, there's a niggling doubt in your mind, you will always revert back to your work because that's what you fucking care about, okay? So I have the two. I have my son and my wife and I have my business, right, and my clients. 80% of the time, I'm thinking about that. And there are times when I'm with Vicky and with Harrison and I do think about that and it's hard to turn it off. But I also realise that I can't control it and I just need to embrace it. But if I have them as a backup and I can spend more time with them and I can do different things with them and I can get out of the house and break that cycle, then I stand a better chance of controlling it. If you don't have any of that or you haven't paid a conscious awareness to it, it's very hard to actually get yourself out of those loops. It's not impossible, it's very hard. So yeah, you need to be focused on your work. Demi sat there and I'm like conscious of that as well because I know you guys, you work together?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, so obviously you need to have that, but you've got to think outside of the 50% of work, how are the other 50% of the hours of your life spent, right? Think of the quality people, think of the network, think of the hobbies, think of everything. Audit it ruthlessly, and then think what you're aiming for outside of work, okay? What the money you earn with Temmie is actually going to do, otherwise this is just an unfulfilled life. This is what I've done with entrepreneurs. They earn 100K a month, but they haven't got anything to deal with, anything to focus on. It's just materialistic things. It's watches, it's cars, it's holidays. So what? As Jerome was saying earlier, Dan Bilzerian eating in the best steakhouses in London, New York, fucking everywhere, just tastes the same eventually, right? Me, I can earn $1 million a month, and I've got a wife that I can retire, I've got a son that I can support, I can put them in the best fucking schools, I can make sure they get the best clothes, the best fucking house, everything. That makes me feel valued as a man, right? If you don't have that, I genuinely believe you won't live the best life possible. And fucking hundreds of millions of men out there feel exactly the same. They don't feel valued. They don't have anyone in their corner to focus on, right? To give them a higher purpose.
Yeah.
Long-winded answer, but just because I give a fuck, right? And I care about it. Because I've been in that position. So I would seriously consider what you're doing outside of work, how you're spending your time. Because you're always going to revert back to the thing you enjoy the most. It's going to just feed that perpetual loop in your mind.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
All right?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Cool. Let's wrap it up there, guys.
Just one more question.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about taking like a 15-20-minute naps throughout the day?
I'm not averse to it at all. Just don't do it any closer than 8 hours to your normal bedtime. So go to bed at 10, don't sleep past 2 p.m.
Okay.
Maybe eat your lunch at 12, rest, go work out, sync your day up. That's what I would do.
Yeah, you said 15 minutes every 2 hours.
Yeah, 5 to 15 minutes every 2 hours if
What
possible.
time do you go to the gym?
Midday.
Midday. I mean, that's a good time. No one's there.
Yeah, my gym's private as well, so it's good. But no, I will start my work at about 9.
Yeah.
So I'll get up, spend time with Harrison, switch with Vicky, get ready, take him to nursery, start about 9, work till midday, work till about 11, half 11, take a quick break, go to the gym, smash a workout, come back, 2 hour block, break, 2 hour block, pick up Harrison, dinner, day's done. That's it. But the difference is what I do in those 2 hours. It's like, is it client work, content, creative work, vision, process, that kind of thing. That's the little nuances, all right? Cool, all good?
That was insane.
Yeah, it was great.
Amazing. Thank you so
All
much.
Fire. Awesome.
So let me just stop that.